what I really want to know, this will be not the side story I want to hear.
Here we go.
How did Krillin get Android 18? That's what I need to know.
Where's that lore?
We could add it to that.
The details. Now, I don't care about the demon world and how many Majin Buu. What I care about is how did that little short bastard get that lucky? That's what I need to know.
I mean, I feel like a lot of us need to know this.
I need a little bit of luck, all right? I need a little hope on my side. If this little bastard could do it, then I have a chance
What's
to.
the secret?
Bienvenidos, Minasan. Welcome to another rousing episode of the Otaku podcast. Today I'm your host, Miles, and we're going to discuss a little bit about Dragon Ball Daima. That's the show that just came out, or the last episode just came out a couple days ago now, when you're hearing this. So we're going to do a Otaku review on it. But before we go there, let me introduce the other host on this panel. Of course, there's my brother, Ray. Hi, Ray.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty chilly, actually.
You're doing chilly?
It's getting cold in here.
Mm-hmm.
Or we've been going down.
You have a sweater on, and it's been relatively warm this last week. What are you on about, brother?
It's getting colder. Don't worry about it. It's good. It's like 50 degrees outside. I did check. Thank you.
I'm concerned about you.
And then, of course, Frank. Hi, Frank. How's it?
I agree. It is cold.
You guys, my goodness gracious. What would you guys do if you ever left Southern California?
Oh, sorry. Not all of us are cold-blooded. Sorry.
What can I tell you? Someone has to be the smart one here, and if that's what it takes. The rational, that's what, sometimes we have to be the cold calculating type, but we need to give people the right answers. And sometimes, I don't know, I feel like we drop the ball sometimes in this podcast, but that's why I'm here to fix everything. Don't worry, folks.
Yeah,
I got your back.
Before we get to our review, let's go into our weeks. And just because it's been, let's ask Ray how his week's been so far.
Oh, all right. Let's all right. Take the lead here. All right, gentlemen. So for my week, I guess I'll keep going and put the nail in the coffin with Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. As I mentioned last week on the podcast, I stopped playing it. I just didn't care for what was going on gameplay wise. The story stuff I'm interested in because obviously it's a movie franchise it's based off of, and so. This week, I sat down and watched all the cutscenes on YouTube, The Power of Gaming.
Did you intend to compete the game, brother?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that. I made the right choice. Because, man, oh man, that game and the story beats and what happens, it becomes more like, in the beginning, it feels like, more like Raiders or Last Crusade. Oh. By the end of the game, it's like, what's the fourth one called?
Was
Crystal Skull?
Yeah.
It gets Crystal Skull levels of absolute nonsense and worse than that. And I know there's some, shenanigans in the franchise.
Are they swinging vines around there?
Pretty darn close. And so, yeah, it just got a little too over the top and ridiculous for me. And two, the big thing that you find, without getting to spoilers, you find at the end of the game, it is the most safest thing to choose for anyone who's seen the original 3 movies.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a little uninspiring on top of it. And the other problem is, you spend all this time with this one particular female character, but at the end of the day, she can't be anything because she's not in the other movies or this or that, right? So it almost feels like, what's the point of even introducing this character to a certain degree? And you spend all your time with her. I kind of wish that you would have more like different little friends throughout the journey. Like you kind of see in the movies. And you kind of have them in the very beginning because you meet the one priest in Italy, but the rest of the time it's mostly her. And like I said, you just kind of like, well, this is going to work out, so...
She might survive, you don't know.
So yeah, basically I was just kind of disappointed with the game and now the cutscenes and the story beat. So I made the best choice and, like I said, speedran my adventures in the Great Circle and oh well. And I don't understand the 8s and 9s that game was getting, but I guess maybe as you hinted last week, Miles, this might be the new BioShock Infinite of this generation, potentially. I don't know. We'll see.
I guess it depends of how well it does at the end of the day, because I don't know if they're gonna make another. I think they said they're more interested in making more, because I think that's what they did towards them. Because obviously you can't do anything further at the rate we're going. No, or they can't go any further because they kind of stopped it, right? In a way.
What do you mean?
Oh, the Indiana Jones, because
well, they're not gonna jump into the future. I mean, there's like 20 years to play with.
Yeah, but I guess. I don't know if this game did good.
You really want to see Indiana Jones in the 1980s?
Hey, still survive? His hat still survive.
Why did they put a DeLorean in the time machine? That's so stupid. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? But anyway, so yeah, there's that. To a little bit more exciting and better news in my gaming of the last week.
Ooh.
I moved over to my Nintendo Switch and boosted up a GameCube Classic with a remake that came out, I think, last year or the year before. Now, sadly, I'm working on the backlog. And I played Paper Mario, is it 1,000-Year Door? 1,000-Year Door? Something.
And 1,000-Year Door.
And 1,000-Year Door. That's what it is. This is the sequel to the original Paper Mario game that came on the first one came out on the 64. This one came out on the GameCube.
I can't believe this came out on this console.
And yeah, and I have a lot of fond memories and expectations for this game. And so far, I've only gotten through the first temple or dungeon, however you want to phrase it, for the Nintendo Zelda fans out there. And yeah, it's I like the interactive like combat, because for those who are not familiar with the Paper Mario series or even like Mario and Luigi series, has like similar mechanics. Is it's turn-based like your traditional RPG stuff, but the difference is if you tap the A button or certain commands on the right time when using the joystick or like the A button or something of the sort, you can do extra damage. So it's more of a, it's more interactive than, let's say, I don't know, Pokemon's or something, right? Where you just hit a Pikachu Thunder Shock and that's it, right?
Yeah.
So a little bit more input, and it works both offense and defense. So if the enemy comes at you, you can hit the A at the right time when they're about to strike you, and you can like defend yourself, and you can actually counterattack. So that's really cool if you're like really good into the maybe music rhythm games with that timing. And yeah, so like I like the combat a lot, and really what sells me on this game is the story elements and the writing of this game. And they maintain that from the original version as far as I can remember. Nothing too...
No, and obviously I'm surprised they didn't like clean up a bit, because boy, that game got away with a lot of stuff if you think about it at the end of the day.
It was pretty progressive for the time in both tones and characters, and just really for the Mario universe, because at that point Mario was like very squeaky clean, like the Mickey Mouse for Nintendo, right? So yeah, the writing really stands out because a lot of the characters are very tongue-in-cheek. There's a lot of people like making fun of like enemies, like, oh, this guy's a Goomba, this guy's a loser, this guy's back on his back payments and his gambling habits, and this like these little just jabs and like making fun of characters that you keep getting little dialogues for if you're like you want to see all the jokes and humor. So if you looking for a funny bone to be tickled, 1,000-Year Door still delivers on that as well. So between that and there's Princess Peach, you actually play as Princess Peach, you even play as Bowser. So, it's more than just Mario. It's a world-encompassing game, I guess you could say. And so, yeah, I'm really enjoying that for those reasons. And so hopefully I'll get a little bit farther in my journey and talk about that. And then the last thing, I would argue the biggest thing I did for the last week, maybe you could hear it in my voice a little bit. I'm still kind of recovering from a little bit of a cough-cold situation, which did put me out for a little bit. But the plus side by being playing sicky and staying in bed, it's good old time to...
Sicky,
I was playing sicky. I was the whole time. I got you.
I wasn't sick. This cold.
And that's why all those editing coughs that you'll never hear on the final podcast.
Yeah.
It's all fake.
What coughs?
Exactly.
I'm a 100% healthy human being.
I've never been sick a day in my life. But I had a lot of chances and opportunity to read some manga. And in particular, I read The One Piece.
Oh, here we go.
And
is this the tease you were talking about?
This is the tease, Frank.
Oh.
Wano, complete.
You're done?
Finished, complete. Knocked it out, Frank.
Oh.
Wow, what city?
I had some free time.
You played sticky a lot.
I did. Overall, I liked it. I did like it. Definitely, if not my favorite arc.
I'm surprised.
Yeah. I think without getting spoilers for people out there, this is the interesting about One Piece, and I really realized that after finishing this arc, is when it comes to the main crew of Luffy, not Yuffie, Luffy. This time I'm trying to catch him. I'm trying my best.
No shurikens allowed here.
Yeah. And the Straw Hat crew, I'm kind of meh with them for the most part.
I was thinking about this lately a lot, but finish.
Yeah, but the thing that really sold me in particular in this Wano arc is you spend more time with the other captains that they tease forever ago that these are like going to be the big shots in the future, and you get to see a bit more of them with was it Law Fonga or something? Law, whatever, the guy with the sword and the hat, the world's greatest doctor, and Captain Kid. That's a lot easier name to remember.
Okay, yes.
So seeing them kind of team up and work together in a very like rivalry friendly kind of way. So yeah, those characters really got me excited. And in particular, I thought their fight with one of the main emperors was really good. And I even saw the anime sequence. What the fuck happened to the anime production? They all just took steroids, or what happened?
They found the extra money. They found the One Piece.
They must have found the One Piece for
I don't know.
that sweet animation.
I don't like it though.
No.
I mean,
Where's my jank? Frank says.
I don't know. It just bugs me that like you see all these flashy things and then like when the fodder is just alive, like,
When the fighting's over, it's back to still images.
no, it's just
Or what?
I guess not so much in this one, but like you see all these super powerful stuff, and I feel like it looks nice, but I feel like the impact isn't shown as much.
Yeah, I could kind of see that. That's a little bit more with the Luffy fight, I would argue, though.
Yeah.
At least for me, because like I said, that fight was okay, but the other one to me is the better fight in my opinion.
Let me ask you this: in that fight with Kid and Law, did they skip something in the anime, or am I crazy?
It's hard to tell because I only watched like 1 or 2 episodes from the anime, so I'm not sure how much got kept in or not from the manga. They did extend the fight sequence a little bit, not a lot, but technically a little bit.
Because I feel like that whole thing was way different than what I remember reading it. Or I just suck at reading.
It's pretty close. Like I said, they extended it a little bit. In particular, there's that sequence when they're like kind of like running all over the place and like tag teaming against the antagonists. That wasn't really in the manga. It was teased and hinted at, but like I said, they really emphasize it, I guess, in that. And then the last point before I go on and on about One Piece, Gear 5. I don't know how to feel about Gear 5.
I didn't like how they animated it.
It's
Too fast.
It's weird. Which is kind of fitting for the show because the show is kind of weird, right? And you know that from just looking at the art design that this is going to be a zany, wacky adventure that you're not maybe you see all the time in anime or so extreme. So in a weird way, it makes sense that Gear 5 is what Gear 5 is, so over the top. But it gets a little too over the top to a point of like now your sense of concern and worry during the fight is kind of like diminished quite a bit.
It's too strong.
Yeah.
So like Super Saiyan 3 level kind of what we're talking about here? Or if we put it in Dragon Ball terms, like is like are we gonna like Super Saiyan like Super God, Super Saiyan or
well it's not even it's more I don't know how to
Super Vegeta.
The problem with like trying to make the Dragon Ball comparison is like it would still in Dragon Ball be a serious fight and this and that, but they're trying to be very comedical, I guess, during the fight scene.
More like Jackie Chan Drunken Master.
Yeah. That's probably the best way to describe it. It's more like that than anything else. And so, like I said, and we've been, this whole time, because Wano's huge, it's humongous. It's like 200 episodes in anime, apparently. It's just weird. And then plus the other thing I kind of don't like about it, without getting into details, is it also kind of does the Naruto problem as well towards the end of that series run of like, this whole time, these are these random little characters that have these weird abilities, but they make the most out of the weird abilities to do like crazy things. And only because of their hard work, intimidation, can they get this far in their journey. But it turns out, oh no, Luffy, he's got like the best or the best devil fruit of all time. And I'm just kind of like, it's a bit of a cop out, which a lot of shonen titles do this. This is true.
Should I write down a list of all of them that do this?
Pretty much everyone does it. But like I said, to me, the difference is like, you would think looking at the first chapter of One Piece and knowing what Luffy's power is, you'd be like, well, he's not going to get very far. See, there's different power-ups and abilities. It's like almost like in JoJo, if I had like the worst JoJo ability and you just like, he's not going to get that far when he gets to the Grand Line. But because he really thinks about like, what can I do with this gum fruit and this and that? And it kind of like, in a weird way, like, oh, that's kind of clever to think about this and that. But then it just becomes, I'm the best though. I'm Super Saiyan 4 out here. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed with that too.
So a little bit of a cop out when it comes to the big climax of how is he going to pull it off? Oh, never mind. He's got the best ones. And I am kind of concerned because now it's going to become Dragon Ball Z with, here comes the power level struggle. And how are we going to keep doing the power levels higher and higher and higher?
Well, there's Gear 6 and now it'll be Gear 8. And then we get
I don't think there'll be a Gear 6.
I'm praying there isn't.
And see, when Gear 10, that's when it gets though.
That's when it gets real good.
Was there like pictures back in the day of like the Goku, but like in the
fan.
And
silver hair, even longer than Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah, Super Saiyan 10 or whatever, because it's like so like ridiculous amount of hair.
So silly. So yeah, like I said, I liked it. And then the funny part, last thing is
one more thing.
It's just funny that like Oda loves setting up things, but holy shit, does he like wait till he was like, I know what I want to do with this idea finally, and then he executes it. But Jesus Christ, you know how long ago is when Luffy met Law and Captain Kidd? That was like forever ago before the time skip. And like barely now we're doing something with those characters. So it's almost kind of like, oh, surprise, here they are. So it does seem a little like hazardous writing a little bit.
Well, we went Takashi. It was like, I promise you nothing.
Well, see, that's in like I was like, Oda's like the complete opposite. Where Oda's like, I promise this and I will deliver to you, but I am going to take my sweet ass time and it might be worth it. Well, Togashi goes, yeah, I'm going to just next chapter. I gave up on that idea. So yeah. So there you go. There's the One Piece update. So I guess it's Egghead Island. Is that right, Frank?
Egghead.
That's the last of the current arc.
That's on hiatus.
Well,
Yeah.
no, actually, it's done already.
Oh, it's already out? Oh, okay. Well, then there you go.
Right now, they're in Elbaf.
Ooh, Elbaf. So yeah, something to look forward to. Maybe next time on the podcast, we'll see. Took me finally a whole year-ish to catch up. I'm like, I think it was like a year. I looked it up out of curiosity. I think it was like a year and a half-ish from the original premiere of Gear 5. So I feel cool now with all the cool kids who know what that thing's all about.
All I know is that I think I actually got spoiled about it once, and I kind of went, where the money came from.
Very different.
Like where's money? Where's this? Is this where Super's money went to? The Dragon Ball Super's money? Did it went to here instead? Like, oh, supposed to give it to there. Whoops! They got diverted to One Piece by accident.
It definitely had the animators that worked on the Brawly movie because a lot of sequences moved exactly like that with the camera. So I'm like, oh, I know who they brought in.
I know the team. They got the Broly team.
Yeah, give me the Broly guys. And with that, I will Broly on out of here and pass the mic back to the host. It's all you, brother.
All right. Just because I'm not ready to talk about my week just yet. Let's ask Frank how his week's been going.
Oh, okay. Well, I kind of feel like I talked about Shangri-La last time.
Oh,
but-
Shangri-La Frontier?
Yeah, but if I didn't, I finished it. It was decent. Kind of cool that he's like this hardcore gamer. The part that I don't, because I sometimes do similar things to that, but he just talks about it too much to the point where it's like, okay, now you're showing that. Now you're just being cocky little
freak.
Yeah, he's like, oh, if I didn't spend this much time playing these crappy games, I would have never, I'm like, okay, man, we get it. That's your thing. Like, you're good because you're always played on hard mode and stuff like that. But like, it's just like, okay, move on, new topic. But it's cool. I like it that it's funny. I just feel like there's like a lot of skills that they don't talk about, and it just looks like he just slices every time. Oh, okay.
He cut real good.
Yeah, so it's moving pretty fast too. Like, what is it? Season 2? He's already level 99. I'm like, whoa. So
Whoa.
Where are we going from here?
Most shows start at level 99, so haha.
Yeah.
It's slow now.
So I'm enjoying it. I wouldn't say it's a must watch, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I do hope he changes his look because that bird thing, it was cool at first, but now I'm like, okay, let's upgrade here.
We can do better.
Yeah. So they kind of tease it at times, but I feel like when he looks cool, it'll be the end of the anime. Like,
Fair enough.
yeah. So
That makes sense.
I'm keep watching it because first of all, the first opening banger. The second one is okay, and I think the newest one's pretty cool. So I think they have a really nice taste in opening and songs.
Ooh.
But that's enough of that. The real update is that I was keeping up with Stranger Things.
Oh, right.
Almost done with it. I'm a little tired of you. Like, have you guys watched it?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, I kind of get tired of the whole like training arc for 11,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, oh, come on, just make it one episode. But like, I feel like I've seen her backstory a lot,
Right.
and I don't know if I'm crazy or like, or it's not adding much to it. It's just her at the doctor place, and it's like, okay, at least tell me something that's like, oh my god, it's shocking. And
Yeah.
I feel like they revealed it, and then still like they're pretending like they haven't.
Right.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing where she killed everybody, and then it's like, you're still blocking something. Like, yeah, we saw.
There's more.
So
It's a little Dragon Ball that way.
And then somebody told me that I look like the guy with long hair, and I'm like, oh god, I gotta cut my hair if that's how they see me. But moving on, the one that I really watched, like,
really watch.
Really, really watched.
yeah, because I finished it. No, like,
Oh.
is I don't know if I'm saying it right. Mashle.
Oh, Mashle? I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah. Liked it. I liked it. It was
Harry Potter
funny.
fighting?
Harry Potter meets Naruto meets One Punch Man.
And there you go. Yeah, that sounds correct from what I've seen of it.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's silly how much like Harry Potter is, and I'm gonna spoil something. So if you want to watch it,
There's a Kingdom of Harry.
like the main bad guy comes out,
Uh-huh.
and first of all, he's looking for Harry Potter.
Uh-huh.
Second of all, he's bald like Voldemort.
Mm-hmm.
Got a big snake face.
And then all the skills, I mean, they all look like it's very heavily Harry Potter inspired.
Right.
They even almost have a Quidditch game. They have now the Naruto comparison. They have like the tuning exam.
Gotta have it.
They have the Orochimaru interrupts it.
Oh no!
And summons the Hokages of the past. I'm like, what the heck?
Wow, just copy
Like,
and paste.
For reals, I'm like, this is so much like Naruto. They have the whole system of like different level of
Classes of ninjas or
like the
magicians, magic.
the 1 stripe, 2 stripes, and 3 stripes.
Whoa.
No, 3 stripes. Those are the Jonin.
Oh, there you go.
Please tell me they don't have headbands.
No,
Okay,
but the stripes look,
pretty much
that's
equivalent.
their design.
Right.
So it's just like so much like this is Naruto. And
Believe it.
There's a lot of fighting. Like a lot of fighting. The cool thing about it, one is that I think it's funny. 2 is that kind of like how you were saying with how One Piece started, where it's like, this is just the rubber powers. Let's see how creative he gets with it.
Right.
It's kind of like that, where it's like all he does is punches and physical attacks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see how he deals with magic with that. So that's the interesting part about it. But enjoying it overall. I like describe it to my cousin. It's like a salad. Like you enjoy eating it. Doesn't fill you up, and it's not what you really want to eat.
It's a nice opener.
Yeah. So
Savage showed it.
after that, I started watching Dr. Stone.
Are you $1,000,000% sure about that? Are you 1,000,000%?
10 billion%
Okay.
ridiculous or whatever. He always says it.
Mm-hmm.
Which doesn't bother me as much this time.
Okay, because I remember that being a thing for you.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Stupid.
Believe it.
There it is.
But yeah, it's cool. I'm enjoying it. I think I'm almost caught up to where I was before. I tried watching. I'll try to be a good uncle and put that for my nephews.
It's educational.
Yeah,
they were like, "Where's Dan?
Where's that lady again? Has that funny ability? Woo.
Yeah. So yeah, that's where I am. Just Dr. Stone.
Dr. Stone. I kind of want to go back to
Come
it.
on, let's go, baby, let's go.
I'm curious to see what happens. More than like, that's one of the stories that's not really like your everyday anime.
Right. True.
So
You learn how to make. You learn how to. It's like how is it made? But like in anime form.
It's funny when they make gunpowder and the guy's like, oh, by the way, this is the real recipe, so kids, please don't copy it. They literally say that.
That's funny.
It's like, well, I kind of feel like the warning is gonna make them want to copy.
Yeah, I
it.
know, right? For anything now they weren't thinking about. Now they're like, oh, we could, can't we?
There you go.
I am mad at my parents.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, so that's my week. I really haven't played nothing. I just barely get done the dailies for Genshin, and that's it.
Fake gamer.
I did put on Sea of Stars, but I haven't started it. Like
Again.
yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I'm still there. I'm still there.
I haven't left.
I've never.
I forgot I mentioned that. Sorry.
It's just been on standby this whole time.
You understand? I'm not done with it. I haven't left. I'm still there.
Never over. Never.
Yeah. Also, no, I'm done.
Okay, and now for the grand finale. My turn. So most of it is as well, like last time, the time before that, and time before that. Here's more. Yeah, you're right. ZZZ, you're correct. Congrats. It's time for ZZZ talk here. You know, I think the problem.
You can't put it down, brother. You know that, right? There's a choice here.
I think I'm actually my this next patch because I think this is.
Look forward to next week's episode, folks.
I don't know. I mean, they did show that there was yesterday. They were showing the new patch. Like, oh, okay, I can skip this patch. You know, it's like just conclusion stuff and a lot like. We'll see how it goes. Because I think after this, then they said it's going to be 2.0. I guess afterwards. So I guess we'll see what's new and different after because it's supposed to change the game. But today we'll talk about Honkai Star Rail, the other one. All right, you know what sneezing over there, snoozing?
Yes and no.
Yes and no. Just every couple minutes there, I guess. Yeah, so I'm actually almost caught up now. I finished most of the content I missed out, which I'm surprised that, or I don't know. I guess I'm glad I missed it. I guess because I don't know if I'd be more upset if I played it back then. I do right now because boy, it's kind of crap. I don't know. The problem is I feel like the more they keep adding more characters to this thing, it kind of breaks because it has a JoJo problem. Like, well, obviously this character is supposed to be like this top tier character, right? So how you get to know someone to get the next one? Well, you lower that character's ability, so now it doesn't do as well as it used to. And it's like, but I thought it's so well. It's like, well, it doesn't do as well as it does anymore.
No, you're talking about part 6.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just it was hard, and also the whole side plot about people going to the land of dreams and then becoming monkeys, but then not becoming monkeys, but regressing a monkey. It got too silly. It was a very silly story.
I seen Pinocchio.
Yeah, I guess it's like Pinocchio. That's the best way to describe it.
Hell's Paradise, maybe? You don't watch that.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, that's in there. It's a Mappa joint. Yeah, that's. But I don't know if I spent enough time. I'm glad I didn't wait. I could wait for that to pass before I know that way I can move on from it. Because boy, I'll be very upset. But I think that's because everyone says it's terrible. So yeah, so now I'm close to actually now getting to I guess a 3.0 content, which I heard there's not much. Just like ZZ, there's not much voice acting or content because they don't know what to do anymore. So I'm curious how this is going to change the game. Considering like now you now summon characters now because that's your new ability. You could summon little characters they fight instead of you, something like that. So well, I'll let you. Cause I'll be into it by the time the next podcast rolls around. So we'll hear my thoughts later on.
Damn it.
I know you're still thrilled, huh? You're still.
I mean, oh boy, I'm looking forward to that, brother.
Uh-huh.
I don't get tired of this at all. Hearing this every single episode, definitely not.
No, I think we're at a point now. I think after this is really. Well, now so I really want to play Lost Judgment and other PS5 games because there's like just like you, they've been sitting in the backlog for like almost. I got to play all the Yakuza games I'm missing apparently. I haven't even bought the pirate one, which actually is canon, by the way. Do you know that was canon?
Why would it not be? Everything. Do you know the canon of the Yakuza franchise?
I know, but I guess I was like this.
You think that's silly enough? A man having amnesia and becoming a pirate? You think that's the silliest part of the franchise?
Hey. But did he punch a tiger, though?
That's what I'm saying.
Or 2 tigers. Yeah, it's a very
they love Dr. Stone.
It's a good crack fest. But okay, so I guess with that out of the way, we'll now enter our review of Dragon Ball Daima.
That is so ridiculous, by the way. The thing where like he is the strongest high school primate. Like, why would you describe him like that?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
just like Tsukasa, right? It's like they don't want the kids to learn too much. It's a shonen show. Someone needs to punch somebody like every 10 chapters, so that we were still a shonen.
You fight around here, I swear. Not just making popcorn or gunpowder.
And then as you look underneath the hood, wait, we're just learning. Is the education down here?
Oh
no, we can't do that. Fight!
That guy would be so famous if he was actually that strong.
Right?
All right, I derailed enough.
That's okay. So we're now enter our review of Dragon Ball Daima. Let's open up with let's see our early impressions. Let's start with Frank.
Ooh.
So what are your first impressions of Dragon Ball Daima?
Okay. So basically, I wasn't sure what I was expecting because what I knew about it, or what I think I know about it, is that it's canon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I just kept thinking like, okay, so are we saying Super's not happening, or is it in between Super and Z?
It is.
And then so I'm like, oh, okay. I just had questions.
Mm-hmm.
And then early on, I'm like, oh, this opening sucks.
Wow.
And then I started watching. I'm like, okay, it's kind of funny. I was enjoying the jokes, and then so my early impressions were, this is Dragon Ball, not Dragon Ball Z,
right?
And this is Dragon Ball without the adult jokes, and they turned them into poop jokes.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so it's Dragon Ball, but for kids, like really for kids,
right?
And those were my early impressions. I liked all the dialogue. I was not into the fighting. And then so that's basically my early impressions. I eventually, or maybe around episode 5, I really started liking the opening.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a slow build up there.
Yeah, I was just like John, Jacka John. I was like,
Yeah.
it really got catchy. I'm like, oh yeah, let's go.
Slowly but surely.
So that's basically it. Early.
All right. How are you, brother? How do your early impressions of Daima?
So I think I teased because we talked about before in the podcast when they announced it was happening, and I made the joke, oh, Daima doesn't, right? And yeah, so I kind of had low expectations coming into this show because it's
Super.
Well, so yes, definitely because it's Super, but also because just looking at the trailer, you looked at it and you're like, so GT again? Now sanctioned GT, right? And it turns out there might be a little bit more to that if we get to our more spoiler talk section of the podcast. But yes, that's what I first thought when I first saw it. And so, like I said, very low expectations coming into it. And then when you first start it and you find out like it is in between Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super, pretty much like I think within a year or so of beating Majin Buu, right? So we're very fresh off of that story beat. Unleash the old knowledge of the demon world and the very complexities and rulerships of the demon world, which I did not expect to Dragon Ball bother explaining all that, because Dragon Ball's not much of a series that explains like world building stuff, because like there's a dinosaur running around and the president of the country is a dog. So that's what I'm saying, and whatever happened to launch, we'll never know. So there's like all these things that I was just like, oh, I'm just surprised that the writing team, including Toyama, the original creator, thought this was important to explain all this. And they talk about the Dobura guy who shows up for like 2 seconds, like literally 2 seconds in Dragon Ball Z, and like how he's an important character and everything he did kind of affected this world and had like a rippling effect, right? So it was kind of interesting, but also at the same time, like, do I really care? So like early on, I was a little hesitant about that. But once you get the initial premise of basically GT happens, where they become kids again because this demon guy shows up and he wants to become the ruler of the demon world, and I guess all the worlds, ? And you find out there's another set of magical Dragon Balls that isn't the original ones, the ones on Earth or the ones in Super. Is yet demon Dragon Balls, and there's only 3 of them, by the way. Is that a spoiler? I think they said that early on, don't they? Though I was confused by that, and let me tell you. So that was actually a little bit, I felt cheated a little bit maybe on that. 3, that's 7. 7's the lucky number.
Yeah, you know something about that? And how they mentioned like, oh, the Earth Dragon Balls are white magic, and I'm like, really?
Yeah, right.
I mean, I feel like, I don't know if they added that just to kind of like explain certain things that they can't wish. Like, you know how they say, why don't you just say to kill Boo?
Right, yeah.
Because they're white magic. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't know if that's what you're trying to do, but...
There's, like I said, there's a lot of things like that where they kind of fill in some gaps of questions that you really never thought about, so it's kind of like, oh, cool. But having said that, I don't really care. So it's like a mixed bag.
After like 30 years, and now we're going to...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, now we're going to explain it? We'll explain the dog prison to me. That's the more important one. And the dinosaur. Let's get nitty gritty here. So yeah, like I said, very kind of rocky start. But when you get into, I think what Frank was in, like episode 4 or 5-ish, when you kind of, the premises, establish, and we go to the demon world, and Goku, the blue guy teenager, and then the female character, because you got to have one in a shonen series. Yeah. They go on their little adventure, kind of like Trunks and Pan and GT once again. It kind of started working for me. If you remember Dragon Ball, not Z, but Dragon Ball, because it's definitely going back to that vibe of we're on a grand adventure to a new place, new worlds, new characters, and they're kind of learning everything. They brought back the power size and the power levels down, right? Because he's a little kid now, and he's like trying to get accustomed to his body, so Goku just can't punch his way through every problem in the beginning. I did like that, just because, like I said, we really simplified Dragon Ball Z. And as I mentioned earlier, playing the power level game, it's impossible. You can't win that game. So I like the fact they brought it back down in the beginning. We'll talk about the spoilers, what happens later on. So yeah, I was kind of pleasant surprised. Probably like between episode 6 and 12 was probably my favorite part of the show, and I was really sold on it. And then, without getting too many details, and we're talking about spoilers, the last half, it was losing me a little bit.
It's like girl, like
it was, yeah. It did seem like, oh shit, it's only 20 episodes. Fuck. Okay. So yeah, I had a little bit of pacing issues in the second run of this 20 episode series, because it's over now and there's no more at the moment. And they ended this plot line and arc, so I don't know what they would do to keep going.
Daima 2.
Yeah, the other demon world, the real demon world. The S-class demons live here. Pull Yu Hakusho.
There's a net right here, and we need to get a long sword. You need to get a sword. You need to find a guy that has a sword. You need to get Trunks.
Goku's great.
No, Trunks doesn't get his sword. Sacrifices. Trunks gets his sword, and then you need that to cut the net so you can go to the other world.
He's got the magical sword.
He did break a hole between the worlds.
He killed, that's true. And then, or Super, didn't he cut that demon guy or Lord God being whatever in half? It was just a big puddle. Boy, that Super's bad. Overall, a somewhat pleasant surprise. It fumbles the ending a little bit, but sadly, this is going to be the last official thing that Toriyama got his chance to work on and put his creative input in. And you do feel that in the early episodes. And I was grateful and happy to see we got one little thing with the original creator behind it. Because, I give Dragon Ball Z a hard time all the time. But as you maybe could tell if you keep listening to the podcast and just look to our Battle Shonen arc conversation, where I just gush all the time about Dragon Ball Z. So it's nice to get more Dragon Ball for me, a Dragon Ball fan. And I complain about Super because Super's bad. But it's nice. It's nice to have a little surprise. So there you go. That's my early impressions of Dragon Ball Daima.
For me, to echo like what both of you said already, it is, it does take out easy because you have to realize the fact that whereas this is Dragon Ball, which I don't think not many people would remember Dragon Ball for being don't remember Dragon Ball as much, as Z because Z is like go fight, they're super strong. We punch, and we spend what was it 5 minutes for 30 episodes for 5 minutes on the fight a guy. And here's like, no, it's chill, relax. We have time for jokes, but it makes sense because they're kids. They're jokes. Look, they're jokes to kids.
That's wacky. Whoa.
But I do like the fact that it does, after a while, it does make sense of adventure like Dragon Ball did. Dragon Ball did. In a sense like, we're in a foreign place. Things don't exactly work the way that we want to. There are different rules, different cultures, different little backtracking here and there about like, the dynamics yet again. Like always like.
Right, I forgot about that.
Like okay, so now they're demon. Okay, that makes sense. Sure, Antonio, sure.
I guess.
I guess we needed to add that in for some reason. Besides that, it is refreshing in a way because this anime is very. I do like the color palette of this.
True.
It's very colorful. It's more vibrant than Super ever was.
Yeah, and the designs and the color used are very closer to what Toyama used in the actual comic.
Yeah, and that's what I kind of like the most. And I do after the designs like Goku being a more lighter color. They have they mostly have time to make jokes about each other. You can spend more time with knowing the characters and trying like go on adventure with characters rather than like where's Goku gonna punch that guy in the face? Where's this guy? Let's punch him. Where'd he go? But to me, I feel like this show is a great tribute to Toriyama's early work because it's more about the adventure, not really at the end it doesn't really matter about strength or am I gonna punch this dude in the face, things like that. It's more like going on an adventure, exploring, talking to people, meeting new characters. Kind of like exploring. Kind of reminds me a little bit kind of like Sandland in a way as well. Which like what's not it's more about the world really rather than say the characters per se.
Right.
But I do like the world building and a lot of the themes of the show because they're not trying to. It's not because obviously you can't do a power play because they're Super for one, and that's its own mess.
Yeah.
But the fact that what can he never really wanted to be the shonen battle guy, right? He's a gag. He was a gag mangaka. So you feel more of that, more of his like what he really wanted to do at the end of the day, more in the show.
Right, which they tried their best to sneak in a Super and just didn't work.
Yeah, but I think the fact that he supervised it. And the fact that he pretty much he answered questions like people asked about Dragon Ball that no one he's giving answers to like certain things, lore questions we have for years, I guess. But at the same time, make it a fun, enjoyable show, and you're drawn to it because it's more interesting watching Super ever was, But that's early impressions. Obviously, we get spoilers, then that like you mentioned, brother, there is the last part of it. Like, we felt like we kind of had to we put the foot on the pedal just a little bit hard. On the last couple episodes there, but then it ended. I think it ended literally because I think today, technically, it would be 1 year since he passed. And I guess that's what the reasoning for it to end. I guess it depends. I'm not sure even where to go from it, but we'll get there when we get to spoilers.
Well, I'm sure that's the question Suyesh is asking all the creators and whoever maintains the rights to that franchise.
I feel like it's like the same boat as Berserk in a way, kind of. It's like
yeah.
Do you keep going with this, or do we just like find a way to tie the loose ends and then like call it and that's it? But that's
Time will tell.
That's a bigger than we can say on this podcast. So I guess before we get to spoilers, I guess, do you guys recommend the show? I guess let me ask Frank. Frank, do you recommend the show to other Dragon Ball fans or kids?
I think if you're like a big Dragon Ball fan, like if you watched everything, then yes, you gotta watch. But if you're not, like never grew up watching Dragon Ball or nothing like that, I wouldn't. I enjoyed it. So maybe if you're looking into seeing something light, like light comedy, yeah. But if you want action, this is not it.
How about you, brother?
Well, did I say yes or no?
Oh.
I guess that's a
You
no.
enjoyed it, but the fact of it's a kind of a limited recommendation.
Yeah, only for like to complete your
Your run. Gotta know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. Where, like I said, as a hardcore, longtime Dragon Ball fan, and knows Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, Dr. Slump, and Sandline, all the other things that Toyama did. I know most of them for the most part. I did enjoy it because I get Toyama's humor. Sometimes he swings and misses. It happens.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I tend to like his kind of style of writing and this and that. It's very, maybe a little safe, maybe a little boring, but I find very pleasant and easy to get into. And especially if you got maybe a kind of a youngster on your hands, right? I think this is like good story stuff to kind of get into the bigger crazy stuff that anime and shonen battle series has. But if you've never seen Dragon Ball Z, and you just start watching Dragon Ball Daima, I imagine you're going to be bored out of your mind and confused. So, I would highly recommend minimum watch Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and then watch this. So to really get your money's worth out of it.
And then the best one, Super.
Go watch the Super Broly movies. My answer to that one. But yeah, it's one of those. If you're a hardcore fan of the franchise, yeah, I don't see, unless you only like Dragon Ball Z, which back in the day I do remember that was a person, and they didn't like the adventure little kid Goku part. Then yeah, you're not gonna really get the Z either. So, but if you like Dragon Ball, it sure bloody is just more of that. In 2025, so yeah, that's who I'd recommend it for. But like I said, I still had overall a good time with it. Like I said, a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, to me, I feel like there is a sense of like it is hard to recommend to younger kids because they don't know Dragon Ball or don't have the same nostalgic feeling that we do with it because we grew up with it. We've seen everything. Unfortunately, we've seen Super. But this is like a good, I guess, quote unquote, send off. We don't know yet. But I think if you say it's not a bad show to put in front of the kids, you're not too worried too much about the fighting.
Too violent.
There's not because in Dragon Ball Z, there's like blood. There's a lot of people are actually getting hurt. Things like that. It's a light sport. No one's really getting quote unquote stomped until like the final end, I guess. When that just gets a little silly. We get there in spoilers. Overall, I think if you could, it's a safe thing to put on the kids and have It's like look, let me show you, son. Let me show you, son.
Come here, son. This is what we call anime.
Yeah. I think it's one of like a good introductory one, I guess. But is a kid gonna stumble into it and go like, what is like? They're like, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
They need a guide. They need someone to guide them towards the good recommendations, apart from the bad one. We need like quote unquote, like Frank says, we need a cool uncle. we need a cool uncle to no, you should watch this.
Maybe save Dan to Dan for later.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Me? I would never do that.
Tune into the last episode of the podcast. Wink, wink.
I would never.
Not me.
I always do the right thing.
He's a responsible adult.
All right. So I guess now that we recommend our show, we talked our early pressure show. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's get to the spoilers, everybody. So let's start with Frank. So any kind of spoilers you want to talk about? Oh, the spoilers are mentioned. Spoilers.
Timestamp down below if you want to skip it.
Oh, well, let's see. I watched it I feels like I watched it a long time ago. I watched it like
weekly.
I pretty much watched it all in like 2 days.
Oh,
like
surprise.
Over a week ago.
Oh, okay. So you binge watch it, but that was a while. Like,
yeah, and then I just watched the last episode today.
Oh, right. Yeah,
So,
it did literally just come out.
Let's see. What do you call it? Conversations, the
Dialogue?
There you go.
Mhm.
The dialogue was my favorite part.
Mhm.
Especially the green boost.
Oh, right.
I thought those guys were funny.
The discount Mashin boost.
When they came out, I'm like, okay, it's. I was thinking they were gonna be like serious bad guys,
Right.
but they ended up just being some funny stuff. And then the guy with the belt, he's just always like every time they cut the camera to him and
Oh,
to hear him
that
say
guy.
something, he just said something that was like, this guy, you're my favorite. Like
And I told myself I knew Frank was gonna love this guy.
this guy was,
I hated his guts.
he was just like everybody was talking about something and he's like, what's it's just
I love peanut butter
on a different
sandwiches.
channel.
Yeah.
So
My boots are dirty. Just like literally just the most randomest thing.
he was cool. One part that it bugs me a little bit is that it's the Goku Vegeta show, and it's just like I get like okay, bring Goku, but did you have to bring Vegeta?
Pick one.
Or like
I mean, they did wait a minute before they brought in Vegeta, technically.
Yeah, but then like you could have brought Goten, you could have brought Trunks.
Well, they were kids, or
Goku was a kid.
Well, I guess we're like
You didn't even have
toddlers,
to-
right?
They were baby infants. I don't
Like,
know.
why wasn't the wish like get rid of Goku and Vegeta, and then like okay now Trunks and Goten have to
It's
say,
the white magic, Frank. Remember?
or just like send them away, like something like I don't know. It's just like I feel like there's a lot of great and loved characters in Dragon Balls. And
Right.
they go unused.
Yeah, that's true. This is true.
Like I
More
was,
attention on.
Those bastards. They did Chen so dirty. Don't get me started.
I was just talking that like Chi-Chi, like why are we overutilizing Bulma and Chi-Chi's like
Just chop liver.
she's been on the bench a while.
She was our first girl. Well, I guess second girl. Bulma was there on the first chapter, but second girl.
Well, but Bubba holds
She had a blade on her head that
Oh.
sliced a mountain.
Like, there's Beerus, the god destruction, and then there's
Well,
Bubba
yeah,
right
well,
afterward.
he's not. He hasn't introduced him yet.
Why can't we like send Chi-Chi on an adventure with Goku? Like,
Right? Wouldn't that be nice?
isn't she
She could
important?
fight.
She's the wife of one of the most important characters. Like,
No.
Just like Videl. Anyway,
I guess the justification why Chi-Chi is never around for any of those situations is just like she doesn't want to do
how
that.
did she become a grumpy lady? Like, damn. Like,
Yeah, I guess she just wants to play housewife. I guess technically that's what she wants to do. That's a lot less stressful than fighting against the universe. So I
Fine.
understand it to a certain degree.
Bring her and have her always nag Goku. Like, let's go back. Let's go back. Come on.
She could bring out that big. She could bring her Cutman blade back helmet. She'll be good to go.
So that kind of bothers me that there's like a lot of characters I want to see and they're just not being used. Let's see what else. I did like the first half a lot because it was a lot of dialogue, and the second half feels rushed. Like I feel they could have. I wish they hadn't had the whole like Super Saiyan 3 and then all those power ups. I feel like just give me base Goku and
Super Saiyan maybe, and that's it.
And also like all the fights for me felt filler.
A little bit.
But I was thinking about it, like why? Like I think about like Super Saiyan and the fights in Z, and I'm like, these were all like really cool fights, and why was I hyped about them? And I came to the conclusion they're just not doing them right. They're just like part of it is probably like because we've seen this before,
Right.
and I thought that was what it was, but after seeing the last fight, I'm like, no, they're just not trying. They're like, they're not making it like an impactful moment. I think we've never seen Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta.
Right.
They could have made that like a great like
Huge.
reveal, like
For years we've been taught people. They've been like fan versions of that for years, decades.
and it just happened like, oh yeah, I know this. Like you know what I mean? Like
which is all. But that, to be fair, that has always been Dragon Ball when it comes to that. Like, oh yeah, I just learned this on the fly.
but
But it's so unsatisfying at the same
Bullet
time.
for any money?
I feel like they should have toned it down on the way they transform and kind of like save them for these more impactful moments.
Right.
They could have like had like Bulma being in trouble and
Right. That'll
And
trigger it.
Vegeta like transforming and saving her the last minute or
Right.
last second. That would have been cool, but they just kind of like, oh yeah, by the way, Vegeta's a
Yeah, you could do this. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
He learned it in
Off screen, didn't you know?
between episodes.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
So that's when I feel they dropped the ball on those kind of things. What else? I wonder because you know how the guy passed away.
Mhm.
So I'm wondering if was there through the whole process or if the second half was rushed because like you know what?
He wasn't around anymore.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if it would have been longer.
That is a good question.
because the way it felt like they were going
Very slow.
Like, oh my
Yes.
god, we have to go through 3 worlds.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And then suddenly, like, boom, 1, boom.
we
2.
just lost our car. That's a whole episode of like, how are we gonna get across town?
Yeah, and it just makes me wonder, like, sadly passing away, and we kind of know how we wanted to end it. Now we gotta end it fast because
Yeah,
he's not there. Or was it always the plan to?
I know. I don't know if we're ever
I
gonna
need
get an
ans-
answer.
I need answers.
Sadly, I don't think they're ever gonna tell us. But that it's a great question. I had the
Yeah.
same exact thought, Frank.
And then so yeah, I'm just like, I'm wondering if they would have kept going. Do they delete Super, or would have always been this whole thing would have been made between Super? I'm just so confused. So is GT like, was it like somebody just went off on their own?
Here we go.
That's the real question here.
Did they go off on their own?
Well, yeah.
Or so here's the thing. They
Mhm.
did it on their own, and they just were afraid of the
Secret timeline.
no, they were afraid of how it was received,
Mhm.
and they're like, oh, it's not official.
So that's the thing. So I guess a little bit of the production, the magic behind what makes GT happen in the anime industry and hold together. So yes, as you can imagine, Dragon Ball Z, one of the most biggest anime of all time, especially back in the 90s, early 2000s. And as a company, you're like, oh no, that's it. There's no more manga. What are you talking about? But this is a smash hit. We need to put out more content. And so the anime studio, Toei Anime Productions, said, well, let's just make a new one. And so they did, and it was called Dragon Ball GT. But it was an unsanctioned, I guess you could say, Dragon Ball storyline that Toyama really had no involvement in at all, which does happen in the anime scene quite a bit. And so all that just kind of happened. Super Saiyan 4 was in Toyama, Super 17 was in Toyama, and this and this and that. And them becoming kids again, maybe they asked him like 1 or 2, maybe he designed 1 or 2 characters, but I think that's about it. But like writing and story beat wise, I'm pretty sure he had very limited hands-on in that project.
So now my question is, did he have a hand in like Saiyan 4, or did he be like, you know what, I like it?
Well, that's what my guess is, and I don't know if it said official on the record, but common sense wise, and plus what he's already done in the past, is Broly was also another Dragon Ball movie OVA thing that they did that Toyama, like I said, I think he designed Broly, but like the writing and the backstory of why Broly hates Goku and this and that, he didn't come up with.
Because he cried.
Yeah, which is hilarious when you think about it. But Toyama liked the idea and said, like, what if I was to do my version of this character in this setup? And so that's what you get in that particular movie, right? So he takes these unofficial Dragon Ball storylines and makes them official and adds his own twist to it. And I feel like that's what we got in Daima's. He looked at Dragon Ball GT and said, okay, that's cool. This is cool. This is cool. This is how I would have done it, though. And that's what we get in Daima.
I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of weird to me. The other thing, the fight. I feel like they just. Oh, no. Before they get to the fight. I didn't like that he turned Super Saiyan 4 as a kid. They should have saved it just for the last.
Yeah.
Like the last reveal. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Because he did it, and I'm like, well, yeah, I saw you do this before already, like 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, right.
This fight was 5 episodes, and like, damn. So
classic.
So yeah, that's kind of like, I think that's another drop ball right there. Like,
yeah, it does
save
ruin
it for the last one. Like, what's, and then how they made it seem like the old Piccolo.
Oh, right.
Because it made it seem like he's the one that made him into Super.
Yes, and then apparently it wasn't.
And yeah, because my brother was like, so was it training or did? Well,
because Goku says at the end, like, oh yeah, I've been learning this on the side.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, I guess he just gave him some like energy so he could get up and do Super Saiyan 4.
And then the animation made me think he was like, what does he call that one where he's black hair?
Ultra
Instinct. It made me think he was an Ultra Instinct. Like, wait, are we there?
What? That's a
well, what I was thinking would remind me a lot of like Dragon Ball Z with the king of the Namecs. We unlock the potential, unlock like gold.
Oh, okay. Guru.
Guru. Yeah, there we go. With Krillin and Gohan's.
I forgot about that guy.
Nail.
Oh yeah, no, that's not cool. This
so stupid.
Yeah,
stupid and French. No, that's not today.
And lastly, I did like the last fight. It was like, I feel like the opponent was unworthy, but you could tell like they tried this one. Like the music was different, all the animation was like, oh wait, I do like fights. I'm thinking like I was just like numbed out of the Dragon Ball Z fights, but after seeing the last one, I'm like, oh, they just don't try all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's like, okay, so okay, all is well.
Yeah,
But-
it does have, when it comes to like the fighting and the animation, it does, just like in back in the day, you could tell when this was like the good episode and this was the okay episode.
Yeah, but it was really cool. I like that it was flashy. It wasn't too fast because nowadays a lot of them are too fast. And I don't know what's going on. It's like in movies when they're just switching the camera all the time, like
Right, cut.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I just really liked the last fight. Kind of feel bad for Piccolo. I'm like, why were you there?
This is gonna be the first thing I brought up. Guys, one question for everyone. What was the point of Piccolo?
Yeah, I was thinking, okay, he's gonna finish him off.
He literally had one assignment and he fucking choked.
It didn't even specify how hard he had to be hit. It's just ta ta ta.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly. Why did he start that little jabs?
He just kept pressing forward and A and Smash Brothers.
It's only down the charge. Stop charging, Piccolo.
Oh, triple tap.
Ippo could have got that. Ippo would have had the 3 light tap. He would have got that real quick.
So
He was swinging for the fences.
And then lastly, that super like I feel like after the cutscene, they have that last scene where they go to the store. I was like, this is the new Game Plus store. Like, what's it doing here? Like, it has like all the overpowered
all the
items.
broken shit.
Yeah.
Bulma takes all the like anti-aging things, and then Goku's probably gonna take all the sensu beans, and,
Right.
and then they have
Power
the
bugs.
like, you just have the eyes here, like
The guys just,
sitting-
like you said, unlock Game Plus with all that currency.
I know it's like
It's
oh,
saving that gold.
nobody buys them because they're like super expensive, but yeah, you could become the new king here.
There you go.
Imagine if you buy 2. Because I feel like those little eyes are way more important than the actual Dragon Balls.
Yeah, honestly, 1000% yes.
So,
Oh my goodness gracious.
I thought and then at the end where he's like appointing all the ministers.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then anybody else?
Anyone else?
And then the guy's like, me. All right, we're done.
All right, that ends it.
It's just that kind of comedy that I really enjoyed.
Right. There's sometimes, like I said, the Toriyama humor hits. And that one was funny. Just because, like, oh, good. The character that couldn't stand, he finally gets a little jabbed at. Good. He needs it.
Oh
Goodness
yeah.
gracious.
Overall, I was happy with it. Had low expectations. Maybe that's why I ended up enjoying it.
It helps.
It did get kind of funky at the end. Like I wish it would have just stayed Dragon Ball throughout the whole thing and not try to do Z.
It's, yes, he snuck in there a little. Yeah, maybe super might be the right word.
Not rush it. But you know, it is what it is.
It happens, sadly.
I give it a 7,
There it is.
and I'm done.
All
In case it
official.
wasn't obvious.
Post.
Brother, any other?
All right, is it just my turn instead?
Any spoilers you want to mention before? I think we pretty much covered it, I guess.
No. There's more. There's more. Let me tell you, I'm a nerd. All right, I have no. In episode 2, and 5 minutes into, when Goku wakes up, did you notice his hair flap was to the left? It should have been to the right. Let me tell
All
you.
I know is that poor Pickle got a nerve. Poor Pickle's like, why am I here? Why?
Pickle, yeah.
And no matter how strong they never got stronger than those giants. Those giants were like overpowered.
Yeah. There's a couple things. So first thing, like I was gonna tease, was the Pickle. Poor Pickle. What is the point of Pickle? He's just here. We even discount old Grandpa Pickle is more useful on this adventure than poor Piccolo. So like, why we're and also this kind of like the same with Bulma. Why is even Bulma here? I thought we were gonna she's gonna fix a problem with her tech whiz and this and that, just like back in the day. But,
I mean, we had Demon World Bulma. Why do we need the real Bulma?
that was the other funny part. It's like, yeah, we basically have the equivalent, but no, we had to bring both of them. So it's just a little bit. And like you said, do we need Goku and Vegeta? At least they spaced it out, so that helped. But yeah, at the end of the day, it does become the Goku Vegeta show. But I guess that's just Dragon Ball, period. In particular, I guess when it comes to the fighting, the last fight, a bit of a mixed bag review. The very end when he breaks through and busts through all the different demon worlds is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's pretty rad. So if you're looking for that Dragon Ball Z moment,
That's something that always bugs me about like Kamehamehas or any energy power
Right.
thing, where it feels like it's just a strong punch. And this one actually felt like a laser, how it
Right.
penetrated. I'm like, oh, you
just kept going.
actually, pierced.
Right, which definitely made me feel like back in the day with like Final Flash, right? When Vegeta's fighting Cell and he shoots it off the planet, right? Kind of feels like that. Like, oh,
Yeah.
where does this energy beam go, right? And
That was
like,
cool. That was cool.
yeah, so that definitely was the most Dragon Ball Z moment. So I was happy to see that. But honestly, when it comes to the fighting, My favorite fight in the whole series was actually, I think, the first fight with the first guardian of the Dragon Ball. When yeah, I think that's what they're called.
Tamagotchi?
Yeah, that's what I called them in my head. Where Goku's fighting that robot looking guy with the power pole. I did feel very old school. Dragon Ball reminded me of like when he's fighting like the Red Ribbon Army and he's using the power pole in his fighting combat, and felt more like martial arts, right? And makes me think of the old school days. So I actually like that fight. And I think the animation, the choreographic is actually really good in that sequence too. And like I said, my favorite fight. So shout out for that being like the early middle point in the series. And when it comes to animation and combat,
it would be cool if you could like incorporate the pole, like when he Samo and all that.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is like I said, in that fight he uses it, but then when he gets to Super Saiyan 3, and everything, it just well, whatever. When did the power pole go? And then at the end there, now he has that on his back again, which is like how fitting. Oh, just like Dragon Ball Z.
He unequips it.
Whoops.
He puts on the invisible cash item.
Exactly. So I like that part because it stood out and was different. So yeah, like I said, some of the casting choices are a bit weird. I do think it's kind of like funny and fitting in a weird way that like the Supreme Kai is still worthless.
Well, yeah.
He was worthless in Z. Now like they explain his backstory like, oh, so you're still worthless. Great, thanks. So yeah, that I thought that was kind of funny. And then speaking about, I guess, his family tree and all his siblings, I guess, quotation mark siblings, I guess they consider themselves.
Speaking of them, you know how at the end they were like, oh, we're gonna send the Demon King and then the Supreme Kai's brother
right
to prison,
right,
and then the sister, they didn't do nothing. I'm like, wait, wasn't she bad too?
Which I was gonna get to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so basically that was exactly my point. For one thing, the brother ended up like doing nothing the whole series. He just gets stuck in the bottle at the end. So it's like, okay, what was the point of him? And then two, like the sister of like, I'm gonna create my own Majin Boos, and that was another weird thing that Toyama lore, I guess, where he's like, do you think Bibbidi and Bobbidi made Majin Buu? No. It was this witch right here. She's the real mastermind behind Majin Buu. And so, you're kind of like, and it's just even more jarring when you think about it, like, because you remember, like, in particular, like, to me, I always think of, like, Kid Buu as the most menacing of all the Majin Buus. And to see Kid Buu and then see these goofball characters that show up here is pretty jarring when you think about it. So, yeah, there's, like, a story explanation. They literally brought up the Cybermen. I would have lost all my money if someone said Cybermen in this series, but someone said Cybermen, so fuck me. So yeah, but I guess in a weird way that at least made kind of sense of that. So like I said, there's all these little weird things that Toyama's like, haha, did you know? And I'm like, I did not, nor did I think about that, and I don't think I actually care.
It was like, she made Boo, which is really strong, but I mean, we're gonna make him again, but the reason she can't make him really strong because I'm like, it's really hard to make them.
It's pretty tough. That was a one-time only deal, all right?
She kind of forgot what ingredients she used.
What was any? I forget. It's spice and everything nice. No, that was the other one. No, that's the other one.
We got the YSFDX.
It depends how deep you put in the seed.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. So it's like, I guess, like I said, it's a little too much. Less is more. Less is more.
Well,
sometimes.
I guess he's trying to make fun of himself, kind of. In a way.
That's what it is. He's making fun of it and this and that, and be like, "Did you know?" and ha 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 he he he. So yeah, and the fact that the sister, this whole time she's been evil and she's been playing the board game, and she's doing some Death Note shit, quotation marks, and then at the end, like, I guess we'll team up, and I guess now I'm the vice captain of the demon world.
But I guess that ironically, that's the ironic part of it, because like she has to be ruler, and like she instead of getting a punishment per se, her punishment is like now she's actually the vice president, and now she has to do stuff now, and
she's gonna work on Saturday and Sundays.
Yeah, but I guess that's the tricky part, or not tricky part, but it's the unique part, I guess, because I think at the end it's trying to be a gag per se, so that obviously,
I guess it just feels. I guess maybe that's the way to take it as. It's probably the smartest way to take it as. But to me, it just feels like, we ran out of time. Or potentially Toyama's no longer around. What do we do with this character? I don't know. Team up at the end, I guess, because we don't know what he wanted to do with her. So yeah, that's sadly going to be a question I feel like everyone's going to be asking themselves of how much input and how far along in the project was he still working on it, right?
Majin Ku became Oprah. You become a minister. You become a minister.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess the last thing that really stuck out to me when it comes to like spoilers and details is it. I guess Toriyama's been influenced by One Piece because I just thought it was kind of funny and a little lazy that the fact of what's the main bad guy? It's the demon lord that this whole time has been the bad guy. What happens to him? He just gets big. He just gets big and buff. And it's just like, wow, so just One Piece. Bigger the better. Which is hilarious because once again, in all animes and just Western cartoons, it's always the bigger they are, the easier they fold like a cheap blanket. Yeah. But I guess in One Piece and also in Daima, the bigger the better, because that guy was just taking it all day and was feeling refreshed every time around. Yeah, he had a lot of Zenzu beans, I'm sure. I don't know how that was happening. And by the way, the Jagan eye of Dragon Ball Daima here, for you Hakusho fans, that thing is fucking broken. Absolutely, bro. That is hacks. That's cheating.
I didn't think it was gonna be that strong.
That is ridiculous. How strong that? Because that guy, his power level's like, I don't know, maybe Raditz. I don't know. They never explain it or really talk about that, which is maybe for the best question mark. But like this guy went from Raditz to like fucking Broly or something. I don't know.
He probably Beerus. He probably beat Beerus in a fight.
Yeah, it was kind of stupid how crazy that got. And then the last thing, more of a note than anything, like a kind of cool, kind of mixed feelings about, is I find it interesting that this version of Super Saiyan 4 is pretty similar, with the biggest difference being he's got big old DK arms now. So I was kind of like, yeah, if you look at his wrists are humongous. They're like big old, like Donkey Kong size. So it's kind of weird because I'm pretty sure in GT they're not that humongous.
I mean, and he also has red hair here.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the red hair versus the black. Oh, yeah, because I guess the fusion version has red hair, right?
Yeah, Gogeta.
Gogeta, I think that's right.
Yeah.
Super Saiyan 4.
I never finished GT.
Well, that's probably for the best. Yeah. How far did you get on that now? I'm on this random tangent.
Probably when he first goes for Super Saiyan 4.
Maybe. Oh, okay, right there. The baby.
If that.
GT might be better than Super. Is going to be my quick answer to that. But that's not saying much.
It's like, which of these two you want to take? Do you want to take this suppository? Do you want to take that suppository?
Get me out of the Matrix, I guess, or keep me in and don't let me know. Ignorance is bliss.
Now
maybe.
I have a question.
Oh no,
hit me.
So they introduced Super Saiyan 4 now.
Mm-hmm.
Where was this in?
That's and now was going to be my final point is the coherency of the Dragon Ball universe has always been a little loosey goosey, but boy oh boy is it just getting a little bit more sillier now, right? Because of moments like that, like where was Super Saiyan 4 during the whole end of the universe situation? Goku now would have been a great time to bust that out.
I still like the Ultra Instinct one, and I can no longer do it anymore. I don't know how. I guess I'll find how to do it some other just immediate power down. Like okay,
you can't do it no more.
No, or question mark.
Yeah, because at the end of Super, he says like
I lost the feeling for it or something like that.
Yeah, he forgot. I guess he forgot how he could achieve that, so now he has to relearn it again somehow.
And then the other thing that like very nitpicky would be me the nerd. For those who remember in Dragon Ball Z, it is funny because they introduce right after the Majin Buu arc at the beginning of this series, and they show Dende. Dende's the wrong version.
That's what I thought too.
Because Dende is supposed to be the like in between adult version that you see in the beginning of the Majin Buu arc. Because they make a comment when he meets Gohan again. Like, hey, how's it going? And they're like, oh, wow, you guys look different. Wow, that's crazy. Puberty hits hard.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
That's what I'm saying. But he went back to like the Android arc version of Dende.
Yes, yeah. Like, wow, he got really regressed there, huh?
Yeah, so it's little things like that like make you go, wait a minute, that's not right.
Well, I think like you said, right, it's just that I feel that
he forgets.
Well, here he forget. It's two things, right? Either he forgot about it, which hasn't happened before.
It does happen. JoJo, they're all guilty of it.
Nobody else.
Or unfortunately,
I think Oda's the only one who maybe remembers little dumb things like that.
Or that they there was no design for it at the time. Unfortunately, when he passed, so it's default to the old Dende.
But I mean, they could have pulled the one from Z.
Maybe I know, but it's when it's like
I think they just forgot, and everyone else also forgot, or they were too scared to correct him. Oh, you're right, sir. That's exactly what it looked like.
Assistant. And he knows it. No, I won't.
I have a question. Did anybody else think that the big version of the king, what was his name?
Goma?
That's what it was.
That he looked like the bad guy from Super? Forget his name.
Yes, the outfit was definitely Jiren.
Yeah, I'm like, Is this a connection?
Yeah, I did think that too. Watching, like, wait a minute, this design is kind of familiar. You take away, put a silly jester Joker face and put a space alien.
That also reminds me of
big old Jack guy too and everything
from Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball.
The Red Army guy.
Who?
Remember the trio? The dog, the lady, and then the king. They were part of.
Oh, the guys that worked for the Red Ribbon Army.
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
Oh, you're talking about Pilaf.
Yeah. The old Dragon Ball.
Oh, you're talking about. Oh, you didn't. I thought you were talking about. I said Red Ribbon Army. You said, yeah, he didn't work for the Red Ribbon Army. What about Pilaf now and all that? The fact her age is all fucked up?
No, the fact that Goma looks a lot like Pilaf in the sense like old jester.
Oh yeah, he is basically yes. Which is funny because in GT he's the one that starts off the series and makes them all turn to kids, right? So yeah, I guess it makes sense that he sure is kind of like that character, isn't he?
The more things
Mystery solved.
We'll put that in the book here.
I feel like they would be better served just saying like, oh yeah, this is official, but it's kind of like a alternate universe.
That's probably what they're gonna tell you
because. I don't know how they're gonna explain not showing Super Saiyan 4 and
don't worry if they don't do it, if they don't make any more, then don't worry about it. Just go back to Dragon Ball. Go to young Goku and then forget.
And if anything, it's like why not just put this series after Super? Does it really change anything? They'll become babies or kids again. I don't know what would affect. Guess Beerus doesn't step up, but like you can just say he's asleep.
Well, I think
I just say half the time he doesn't care.
I think I want to make my kids that way, not to worry about powers, things like that.
No. But why? But that's what I'm saying. But why having Super before this story event? Why would that affect and not allow for this story to occur?
The only thing that occurs to me right now is because it seems that their focus was like Boo was the biggest thing out there.
Yeah.
And I guess if they do it after, it's like, oh no,
like Majin Buu was like forever ago. Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, it wouldn't have been that much of a trouble to do it after.
Yeah.
But I guess the other thing is it would be kind of hard to do it after because
the power levels are broken.
No, but like because in Super, unless I'm mistaken, there's more after Jiren.
There is in the manga,
and I guess they didn't want to just like.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Stop. Yeah, that makes in case they want to go back to that. Yeah, that's probably the most logical production business answer.
Which I don't know why they don't animate that. It's pretty cool.
It's overall the manga is actually better than the anime by quite a bit, to be honest. Granted, they had more time to think about it, so that definitely helped.
And
they took advantage.
They saw the anime and went, "Oh, we're not going to do that. No, we're not going to do that at all. No."
Because the fights, the next two sagas are pretty cool, and then the third one, which I don't know if it's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
It was going to be focused on Trunks and Goten. I'm like, yes,
there it is.
I don't know, but it was cool.
Maybe they'll get the baton this time, and then Goku will take it away from them.
Again, I think there's a good chance they're gonna do that just because I think it's the safest thing to. I think the biggest problem is right now because if I'm not mistaken, I don't know all the details, but I think whoever maintains the rights to the franchise is like a friend of Toyama, and he like hates Shonen Jump. So I don't know what's going to result of this bad blood between these two people of people who want to make more content and more stuff for the universe, and a guy going no, you guys are terrible and you did my friend dirty, and I'm going to look out for the franchise. So I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but it would be nice if they actually
wait. Did they stop the manga too?
I think the manga actually did stop.
Oh,
when Toyama passed, I think they finished whatever arc they're on, and I think it ended. I think, or it's on like Hunter x Hunter. It's on hiatus.
The hiatus forever.
So yeah, I don't know what that means. Hunter x Hunter fans, you tell me.
And they can't animate what's already been done.
They can. They maybe not because of the rights holding this and that. So that's something to look into. But yeah. But obviously, if they're going to make more Dragon Ball content, that's the easy slam dunk one to do. Is just let's do what Toriyama was around for, and he kind of, took at least a peek every so often and said, "Yeah, okay, that looks good," because he was a kind of a supervisor on Super. He didn't draw it; he had someone else do it, but he was kind of involved into it. Same thing with the anime. But yeah, there you go. So yeah, that's my spoiler thoughts of Dragon Ball Daima. So you, Miles, tell us what's left in your chambers. What do you want to get off your chest there, son?
I think at this point now, I think let me see what's left in here. I think,
get that horse. Bring me that horse corpse. I don't
know. I think it is funny. I do like the funny part, but the top, like the reveal of Super Saiyan 4 and like and the jab that Goku makes to Vegeta, like, well, you went Super Saiyan 3. That's not Super Saiyan 3. That's Ultra Vegeta 1.
That was stupid.
And it's like, yeah, I'll show you. Like, just like even
Very different.
And because the whole thing was absurd. Like, who cares at this point, right?
Because even isn't it like super Vegeta his final form in that anime?
Yeah,
it's something really dumb. It's not even like Ultra Instinct. It's like I think it's literally like Super Saiyan Blue Super Vegeta. It's like on the nose as fuck.
Well, I think at least interesting because they were trying to at least give him something different than Goku because
was at least something. Because you don't want Vegeta to also do Ultra Instinct because that's just too much.
Yeah, I guess the thing is like what happens now, right? That's a real lingering question because like I said, unfortunately, in the past, it's like now who technically owns the rights to Dragon Ball the franchise itself now? Well, other like I said, his friend, but it's like it's this whole like legal mess that no one really planned. It didn't seem like no one really planned for it.
Yeah,
and it's like Dragon Ball Frontier in limbo for at least a bit until we figure that out.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm just talking on my ass here, but I think in general in Japanese culture, they don't really like plan for the afterlife or what happens when your time. They don't have like wills or things like that, right?
Yeah.
So when people do pass, it's kind of like, oh shit, who owns what and who and what and how, and so it's all like a scramble and this and that. So sadly, for better or for worse, I think that's just the way they handle things. Well, I think out here we think about those things. I think a little bit more. We make sure like, okay, this we see it in the movies and the TV. Okay, my nephew gets the car. This one person gets this, right? While in Japan, I don't think they really do that, but I could be mistaken.
Well, they probably have a different version or something like that, but not what we do, I guess, around here. But other than that, we were exhausted about the forgetfulness, the changes to some things basically making GT pretty much relevant. Even though we kind of at this point now it might as well be canon because everyone, even the games are making canon now, so I think it's hilarious. But now that's super canon. I think that's a good wrap. I can't really think anything else top of my head other than we'll see what comes out. It's like, is there gonna be another Dragon Ball afterwards? Is Dragon Ball Z or whatever Super or whatever's gonna happen next? Who knows?
I just want my Master Roshi prequel series. How did he become the Turtle Hermit? And he learned all those things, and he fought with the Crane guy, and this and that, and he learned the evil containment wave. He fought evil King Piccolo. Remember that? That happened.
I want a Yamcha redemption arc.
He finally quit the league after years. He had retired out of baseball and learned to pick up the
I still like
fighting gloves again. I don't know.
The Yamcha, was it the Yamcha side story manga? What is a Yamcha? What would I do differently?
Oh well, that's more like an isekai thing.
Yamcha, Tien, Krillin, let's get the band together and be like.
What I really want to know, the side story I want to hear.
Here we go.
How did Krillin get Android 18? That's what I need to know.
Where's that lore?
Where added to that?
That's what I the details. Now I don't care about the demon world and how many Majin Buu. What I care about is how did that little short bastard get that lucky? That's what I need to know.
I mean, I feel like a lot of us need to know this.
I need a little bit of luck, all right? I need a little hope on my side. If this little bastard could do it, then I have a chance
What's
to.
What's the secret?
Just don't try to blow her up. I
guess that does help.
Yeah, don't press the button.
And hope that the boyfriend is her twin brother.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, he never. Speaking about canon lore, that actually doesn't make sense. In the manga version,
here we go.
At the end, when Goku's wishing for all the different energies, it makes no sense in the panel. In this funny in the anime they change it. Well, there's both of them. In the manga version, they show Android 17, and he goes, "Okay, Goku, here's my energy." Never meets Goku ever in the series. Why and who? How does he know who Goku is? He dies by Cell and fights Piccolo.
Who never meets Goku?
Android 17. So why is he shown giving Goku energy? Little he knows who Goku is or cares about Goku at all.
In
Dragon Ball Z at the he shows up for two. He's in a manga panel basically.
Don't worry about.
He also shows up in the anime too. But my point being is, who it should have been Bloody Launch, who actually does show up in the anime version. Fun fact.
Yeah.
For Launch. About the Buu fight?
Yeah, at the very end when he's gathering up the spirit bomb energy. Then they show a scene of Launch and okay, Goku, here's your energy, and they even show. I'm not sure in the manga they show him, but in the anime they show
Ada, right? Don't they show Ada?
They show Ada, and then the redhead girl, and then the.
They can't see Goku.
No, they could hear him though.
Oh.
Because in the early beginning, when they're asking, please give me energy, everyone's like, who's this guy? Blah, blah. But the few people who actually know Goku said, oh, it's Goku. Give him my energy. And then, of course, then you get the Vegeta part of like, give me your energy. He's like, fuck this guy. And then, of course, then Hercule shows up or Mr. Satan.
Huh.
That's how I do. Fun fact: I'm a nerd. I know too much things about this universe. It's kind of creepy.
These are the things that
But then
wanted
how-
answering.
These are the questions we have, not the demon. Who cares about the demon world? Deborah, who? You mean the cookie guy, Mr. Cookie,
Yeah, that is funny. Like, oh yeah, I mean that guy, the strong guy,
the
and he
Cookie Monster?
and he got taken out like a bitch.
Like a bitch.
Was always when that goofy like
All he did was spit on Krillin and Piccolo. How rude! And that was it for him.
yeah, it was about the goofy remember the sketch from the Star Wars Robot Chicken where it was like with Boba Fett, like, man, you should go take out like a bitch. Like, it was in the
He
summer,
merged,
right?
which I love how that actually became canon down the road.
But like, it's like, man, we take out like a bitch. Yeah. You
Wasn't that an ongoing joke from Parks and Rec 2? Where he talks about like the fan fiction of Boba Fett, and from the sands of Tatooine, an armor of the Mandalorian armor of Boba Fett emerges out.
Yeah.
And they literally remake it for the series.
That's very bad.
Watch him in Mandalorian. Don't watch the series. That's my random Star Wars thought of the day.
That's your random Star Wars thought of the day. So I guess that wraps up, our review of Dragon Ball Daima. I guess we'll have to see how history will remember this, like, or remember the Daima and how it's placed in the Dragon Ball lore franchise.
Better than Super.
Better than Super, which is kind of sad. At least the fights here, despite the fights being kind of terrible, they're still better than Supers.
Supers are so bad.
Because at least there's actually movement. There are people flying around. There's some sense of urgency. While like literally all the time, Super was just.
I wonder if the Blu-rays are better on Super. I doubt it.
We'll have to see, because maybe it's better, or maybe the English voice actor will help me sell it better. I don't know. I don't know how to save.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch the dub because they're behind on it, but I'm kind of curious. I know they brought back the lady who played original Kid Goku, so that's got to be a little fun nostalgic for me. I do like my dub. We get one every so often. But it's not guaranteed anymore.
Or you get like a year later after the anime finished now.
I mean, you could be like Nichijou and get one like 5 years afterwards.
And then they get to buy the Blu-ray set yet again. Like, I don't want to buy it.
I'm looking. Where's my Bakemonogatari dub? That's what I want to see. I want to see I want to see the poor writers just stress, and the poor audio directors and the actors and actresses have to match those flap lips with all this gibberish.
I want you love to see it. So this time is wraps up our episode of the podcast. Next time we'll probably pick some show out of the blue.
Some anime and video games coming your way in 2 weeks. Look forward, like, subscribe.
And also, I think a couple of weeks from now, probably the end of the month, probably
the end of March, early April, our anime review season will be coming along. So we've been looking forward to that. It's on its way, and of course, right after that, of course, is yet more fresh anime that we're going to talk about here on the podcast. But we'll come up with something in between. What happens in March?
The Madness.
We could do brackets again, gentlemen.
There you go. Best drum character that we most forgotten.
We just let's just toss away Miles. And let's talk about the best One Piece arc, Frank.
Yeah.
There you go. So 3-hour podcast.
And why is it Ines Lobby? That's the real.
I like Egghead now.
Egghead, you said the Egghead. I'm curious about the Egghead.
You know what that means? You got to do, brother. You got to read the manga.
But I mean, it's. I feel like out of the recent ones, it's the better one. But I feel they had just more impactful moments early on, like the Nami Luffy help me part, the Enies Lobby when the Robin part.
Right.
I feel like they haven't had those moments. Like, did that happen in
Wano? Not
Didn't have
really, no.
And then it's kind of like they had those fights where like you felt that all of them were unmatched,
right?
Like there was like they were gonna lose, and then somehow they pulled through. Like it just had the feeling all the early fights it was like we're gonna lose.
Yeah.
And then after the time skip, it's like, oh, we're gonna win. Like
it does. Yeah, it's been on cruise control since the time skip a little bit more.
I think that's a problem with every show in manga series when we get to a point of like power levels. It's like when like not even flies could touch them. You know, it's.
Well, it was kind of interesting in the beginning of the Wano. That wasn't the case because he pretty much gets his cheek slapped But
usually they go into the fight like, if you're gonna place a bet in Vegas, you don't place it on.
Right.
And then it's I don't know. It's just I feel like they're missing that moment of like that badass moment.
Yeah, because that's the thing with the bad thing about Wano, and the last thought before we keep going talking about all day on this podcast, is in Wano, it's not really about Luffy or the Straw Hats or even, the Emperors or this or that. I mean, a little bit of the Emperors, but really the main focus and the appeal, the emotional appeal, is about the 9 samurai.
That's another thing. Please die. Like
that's the people that should have died don't die, and the problem is he pulls the punch too quick, and he's like, never mind, it was a fake out punch. It's like, no, that was a direct hit. He's kind of dead. He's better though. He shook it off.
Where's Squad 4? Keep saving the day once again.
Yeah, and also the other downside. I swear this is it.
I swear this time, guys.
I was confused because it's been so long since we saw any of the. Okay, 2 things. Who's the bear that works for Law? He's just there, and we don't know anything about him or any of his crewmates.
Wait,
we just
there's a bear?
There's a bear. Well, I mean, there's a lot of talking animals in the show, but there's this bear that I guess is just comic relief. And like I said, we don't know anything about his crew, and it's been so long. When they showed without spoilers, the voodoo guy, I was like, who does he work for? Who was he part of?
Garfield Snoopy?
Yeah, and it turns out, and I looked back, like, oh, he worked for him. So that is an awkward moment towards the end of there, and this and that. That was I kind of like that little bit of a tricky fight when that final. It's not very long, but I like the simple logical battle thing movement on that scene, and then you get the little bit of the drama twist at the end, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So little things like that I liked in Wano.
What about the bear?
Well, what's he do? Well, he's just always been in the background, being the punching bag and the joke for Law.
Eating honey, I guess.
That was funny because when Wano was running, I usually like to watch reviews. They're like, all right, the bear is finally gonna do something. No. But I mean, little mini spoiler,
little mini spoiler. That's funny.
They do something
it's coming,
immediately following Wano.
Okay, good. And also, Law's got too many powers. He's a little broken.
Yeah,
with his
9 abilities.
What is he 3, 4
like
abilities?
Law needs to die. Okay, I'm not.
He's like the Shikamaru of One Piece.
I am not rooting for everybody to die, but it just seems like I'm always saying that.
Someone needs to go, but not Law. Keep Law. I need
I
Law.
think he does need to go.
No, I like him too much. He's the only character I really like in the show.
Okay, this is why I think he should die.
Okay.
Kill anyone else. Kill Luffy. That's fine with me.
He needs to die because otherwise, what's the point of saying that his fruit has that power of making someone immortal at the cost of his life?
Right.
So I'm like, you gotta use. Now
well,
he's
going to cash that in.
On who?
Well, it's going to be Luffy. He's going to be king of the
or
pirates.
Yuffie, one or the other.
It's going to be.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, fine.
Gentlemen, we got to end the One Piece podcast now.
It's an extra little bonus. I looked at the time. I'm making sure the fans have enough content. They might have a long day at work and working hard at the gym. We need to give them a little bit extra entertainment.
Oh, I know. Editor Ray's going to have fun with this. I know.
He's going to be working to lean all my coughs.
Poor Editor Ray.
Poor Editor Ray.
Shout out to poor Editor Ray. So this time, I swear, guys, we're ending the podcast now.
Oh, okay.
Fine.
All right. Well, tune in next time. We'll review some anime probably from last year. And we'll talk about it on the podcast next time. Until then, we'll see you guys later.